Senator Bongbong Marcos is one of the most interesting, colorful people to come here at Kamuning Bakery Cafe to speak at our Pandesal Forum. Actually, he is the second speaker ever at Pandesal Forum. The first was then Vice-President Jojo Binay. That was the year 2015. Vice-President Jojo Binay came here, followed immediately by Bongbong Marcos. Bongbong came here to announce his candidacy for Vice President of the Philippines. He ate pandesal here, drank our coffee, and had a very fruitful, very candid, frank dialogue with foreign and local media. He was very eloquent, very cool. No matter what questions were thrown at him, he was cool. He never lost his temper. There were a few times he looked a bit irritated, but he did not really show it. Even the adversarial questions by some media, he calmly answered all the questions. This video that we will be showing now, it's the dinner forum with Anvil Business Club, Association of Young Filipino Chinese Entrepreneurs, of which I was then chairman. This was September 1, 2021. Just 1 month before he officially filed his candidacy for President of the Philippines. Let us listen to his ideas and be open to his advocacies.
Good evening to everyone. And first of all, I'd like to thank you for this kind invitation by the Anvil Business Club to come and speak before you. We are here to discuss some of the issues that we are confronted with, the issues of the day. We cannot proceed further from this point unless we have a very good answer for COVID. We can see that there is a weakness in the healthcare system, and that is being reminded by COVID to us every time there is a new wave, a new surge. And that is what is happening, which is what is happening now. Those who are vaccinated should be allowed to now go and work. So the people that even they're just 10%, 11%, whatever the number is, that they are able to at least make money for themselves. And secondly, that they are actively promoting economic activity. They are promoting economic activity. And as we all know, every peso spent in any place, be it a sari-sari store or in the mall or in a restaurant, that has a multiplier effect because that peso will be going through the economy and that velocity of money will start to re-energize, even just as a beginning. And that's why I've called for the those who have been vaccinated to be allowed to go to work. I further ask that those who are in essential industries also be allowed to work because we need so many of these services. We need so many of these products. From the political side, I have not really heard any plans or at least just identifying the critical elements of the economy that need to be paid attention to if we are to come back together with the rest of the global economy. Because that's the secret. And the secret is to find what is happening not only in the Philippines but also in the global economy, so that we can be part of that resurgence of the global economy. But that will require a good deal of study and a good deal of understanding as to how the trends are going. Yet right now, we have heard, all of us have heard about the term new normal, and but that is we are not yet there. We are not yet there. We are still waiting to get to the point where new normal is when it is no longer an emergency situation and things have stabilized and we have gotten back to some kind of routine in the things that we do in our daily lives, in our businesses, in our educational sector, in our different sectors, agriculture, in our industry. Well, in my view, COVID has reminded us that we really need to get back to basics. And that simply because COVID has shown up the weaknesses in our well, I guess in our different economic systems, that we have to now take another look at and to make sure that they're strong so that even if we come up against another crisis, a pandemic or something else, that we are able to respond to it properly. One of the first things that COVID came was we had a problem immediately with food supply. We had a problem with food supply, and that immediately tells us that there are weaknesses in our agricultural production that we have to return to and look at. We were in a good position years ago in terms of our food production here in the Philippines. But unfortunately, I don't think anybody will contradict me if I say that agriculture has been neglected by the following leadership. The policy now to control prices of commodities, of agricultural goods, is by importation. Because if they say the supply is gone low and the prices will go high, mag-import tayo para ma-stabilize natin ang presyo, which is fine. However, that does not help the local agricultural sector because we are just importing and we are not making stronger the production side here in the Philippines. The Philippines, which consists of over 7,100 islands surrounded by the sea, is now importing fish. And that is again the kind of weakness in our system. I cannot believe that can be the case. There are many things that can be done simply because it has already been, we have already seen some of these problems before and some solutions have already been shown. So we can go back to those policies and reinvent them for 2022 and strengthen once again our agriculture. That were already happening pre-COVID, but COVID made it very much more accelerated the process. And that is our digital infrastructure. Everything now we are doing goes to the internet, especially when we are all being careful and we are all staying at home. Then the internet becomes all the more important. The businesses, you are businessmen. I know I'm sure you have noticed the increase of the dependence that we have on the internet. Our education now, because they're not yet, wala pa tayong face-to-face, is done over the internet. It is critical that we include as our top priority the strengthening and making more extensive our internet network. The local governments are all willing to provide the free Wi-Fi hotspots so that students can come or anybody else can come, so that they can take advantage of good Wi-Fi. You know, it's become very, very important. The other thing that I believe we have to revisit that include in our infrastructure development is power. Yung kuryente, we have to start planning on how to bring the cost of power in the Philippines down. This is bad for business, local businesses. This is bad for foreign direct investment. So that's one of the things that I think, although it's not something that was brought on necessarily by COVID, it is something that I believe we have an opportunity. If we are going to redraw the map, if we are going to start with at least a semi-clean sheet of paper, balikan natin yung power. We built in Ilocos Norte the first commercial wind farm in Southeast Asia. And that was because we were trying to find a solution for the problems that we were having for power. And so there are now these renewable energy sources like windmills, like solar, and I'm sure there are many others that are coming down through the pipeline in the following years. And that's why we have to plan in a very long term on what will be the mix of power between renewable and traditional. Now, it's not so easy. You cannot say, basta we'll just turn off all of our oil-fired and coal-fired plants. We'll just turn them all off, and we will just use windmill. The wind does not blow every second of the day. Even if it you cannot depend on wind power to come. In fact, when we were putting up the wind farm, the only examination was from October to March. It had to do all of the power generation from October to March, because when it was summer, there's very little wind. So you can see that it's not a constant source of power. Then there's solar power that that is now gaining ground in terms of cost, in terms of efficiency on wind power. And more importantly for the Philippines, wind power, namimili yan eh. You cannot just put it anywhere. But solar power, you can't put it anywhere, especially in the Philippines, that we are a tropical country. But again, the sun doesn't shine 24 hours a day. And in industry, there is what is called there's a basic load that we have to that has to be supplied for the factories that work at the different hours of the day, and that never stops. So you cannot wait for the sun to shine, or you cannot wait for the wind to blow. That load is always there, that demand is always there. That is why we still need to find new sources of what we can call traditional power. And yun ang ating hydroelectric, damihan natin yung ating mga dam, pagandahin natin yan. Maybe there's still potential in Leyte to increase the capacity of the power generation there. But then we have to look at actual power plants. And yes, dare I say it, we have to look at nuclear. The easiest and cheapest way to do it is still nuclear. And we know that after all, the Bataan nuclear power plant, which is there still being paid for and not being used, was only they stopped its operation only because of politics. It is not because it's dangerous. It's not because it's inefficient. Because it was made into a political issue. So we have to come back and say, put the politics aside and see exactly what it is that we can do. See exactly what are the advantages. There are so many new technologies now that I think that we can actually slowly begin to solve the problem with the power. Also, we have to look at the structure of power generation, of power transmission, and power distribution. So anyway, these are the things that I think are critical. We have to go back now to education, because the educational system now is completely topsy-turvy, it's upside down. The teachers have not been trained to do it over the internet. The teachers have not have taken on a big load, but so have the parents and so have the students. So we have to really figure this out para naman yung mga graduate ng 2020, yung 2021, 2022, hindi naman lugi. They've started to talk about lost generation. We cannot accept that. That's simply not fair. And if we continue to consider education the most important service that government provides its people, then we cannot allow them to fall back and fall behind. So we have to help everyone. We have to help again, if we go back to internet, yun ang reklamo ng lahat ng mga teacher, mahina yung internet nila. So that's another base. That just goes to show how basic it is. Natatawa nga ako because I remember ang slogan ng aking ama noon was rice, bridges, and schools. Bumalik tayo dun eh. Now we have to go back to rice, agriculture, bridges, infrastructure. Pero iba na yung ibig sabihin ng infrastructure ngayon. Hindi lamang yung buildings and kalsada and tulay. Digital infrastructure, etc. And then schools, nandun pa rin tayo. We have to fix our education. But the one added feature that has become very, very obvious is our healthcare system. We have to build up our healthcare system. I keep hearing comments that maybe this is not going to be, this is not going to be the last pandemic we go through. So let's prepare for that already. It was very surprising to me to find out that no large major hospital has been built by the government since 1985. And it's just a good thing that there were large hospitals built before then. We have the Children's Hospital, the Lung Center, the Kidney Center, the Heart Center. These hospitals na napakinabangan natin during this crisis. But it also very clearly showed na kulang ang ating facilities. And then kulang ang ating support sa ating mga medical healthcare workers. Kagaya ng nakikita natin with all of the complaints that are emerging from the nurses. So we can see that we really have to make it do better in terms of supporting our healthcare workers, because we have to enlarge the system. And I'm not talking only about big hospitals. Since I come, actually my political maturity comes from maturation came during the time that I was the governor. I believe that we should bring healthcare down to the people and not wait for them to get very, very sick and go to the big hospitals. Ngayon, ang dapat natin gawin, damihan natin yung RHU, the Rural Health Unit, so that healthcare is brought to the people as opposed to people having to go and get their healthcare. So these are all of the things that need to be, that I believe, these are the basic elements of the society, that of the economy, as we would like, as I see it, will have to be given the most attention. They're going to be once again the building blocks of the economy. And in my view, those are the things. Pag naayos natin yan, when we get those basic building blocks in place, then we can move on. And the government, the economists, have to analyze and understand what are the areas of economic development that will come up in the near future. And that's, I think, the job that we have ahead of us. And it is going to be critical if we are going to succeed, not only during COVID, but in the post-COVID world.